about. It's all about the HR predictions, and I'm going to go through them because when I start with the first one, it's going to sound like I'm reading Joel's TikToks. And the first one here is internal mobility will be a crucial money saver. And Joel had a post, and I agree with it. It sounds like clickbait, but it's not. Why focus on outside hiring when you have so many good people in your company? And if you're potentially going through layoffs, upskill people, it is a lot more cost effective to move someone internally than for an outside hire, right, Joel?
Well, look, the reason I thought of this, I was getting my oil changed the other day, and the business owner came out and he told me a story, and I'll tell it to you briefly. He's owned the
Please.
business for 25 years. Has he scaled it to 200 employees? No, but he's gone from 2 employees to 30 employees.
That's a huge
And,
increase.
and I said, well, and he also said that our retention's really low. I said, well, how do you keep the retention so low? How do you keep people engaged? He said, it's really simple. I invest in training in my managers. I said, really? He says, yeah, I pay $3,000 a month for my 3 managers to go through business training, business coaching. This
Wow.
is an owner of
Owner
a
operator,
auto
yeah.
mechanic store. And I said, you know what, you've
Yeah.
tapped into something that some people, there's CEOs of billion-dollar companies that wonder why their retention is so low. And then you say, well, what are you investing in your current employees? $5 gift card at Christmas. So I think this is where I honestly think if you have talent, you hired them for a reason. You need to be investing in them. You need to be investing in their development.
Pause on that for a second here. We want to get some feedback from the audience here. In your companies or companies in the past, what have you seen positive, investment in their people? Let's get that conversation going.
Give us
kind
a
of
heart emoji if you have received if you've received this type of training. Is that what you're asking?
right.
Well, I asked on my TikTok, I said, to all my Gen Zers out there who are employed by a company, what do you want your company to invest in you? And they all said money.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's
And
not
look,
that
and
hard.
there's levels, right? But I think what he said, my managers know that I care enough in them to invest in their future because I also want to give this business to my employees in the future. And he said for every investment he makes, he gets it back because they're just better
Of
at business.
course.
They care more about the clients. They care more about their own development.
Well, listen, culture comes down to 2 things, right? It's feeling valued and having a clear career path. And when you're investing into your people like that, that's what you're going to get, and that's how you're going to build up culture. Second point on here, employers will avoid generic recognition schemes, right? It's the same kind of thing, right? Like here's
Yeah.
a $5 Amazon card.
Or
Nope, not
here's like a nudge on the Slack channel, like, great job. Like,
great
what
job,
is that?
Danielle. All right, moving on. Skill trends will respond to AI implementation. As it says here, as AI is growing, blah, blah, blah. Candidates, employees, it's not just the ability, hey, I've used ChatGPT before, but it's really knowing how to put it in a business sense and context to add value to what you do in the organization, right? Oh, I use ChatGPT. Okay, what does that mean to the business?
Yeah.
Reskilling, upskilling. Danielle, what do you think?
Well, when it comes to AI, I think that, I was at the HubSpot conference this year and like this one line stuck with me. And it's like the CEO of HubSpot, she was like, AI helped us speed things up and speed up how we do things. But in 2025, it will completely transform the way that we do things. And I think that's true. And I think it'll kind of extend into the hiring space. Hopefully, we change the way that we apply to jobs and all of that. But in the meantime, I actually think that AI will enable HR to be more proactive in their approach to retention, engagement. And I share more about my opinion on that one in the wrap up show, in the prediction show that Serge hosts next week. So,
Ooh, a little teaser
well
going
plug,
on there.
well plug.
Yeah, Joel, what's your thoughts on AI? Something you don't usually use?
I love AI. No, I think I saw an interesting article about the Klarna CEO. I'm sure you guys saw that, where he
Yeah.
said basically he had 4,500 employees and his company's just been shrinking and they've been replacing a lot of those jobs with AI. I did a video on it recently. I really think even in this downtime that we have over the holidays, if you're not exploring and playing around with AI, whether it's chatting with a chatbot to understand how it gets its data, how it's responding to you, whether it's looking at AI agents, which are going to be a huge thing. I cannot tell you how many AI agent recruiting companies have been reaching out to me in the last 2 weeks, literally 10 to 15. And an AI agent, for anyone that doesn't know, is literally an agent that will do something like screening calls. So you set the questions, you set the parameters. of what you want each person to be screened on, and the AI agent has the ability to be able to call 2,000 applicants and do that. But it goes deeper than that. Imagine for candidates not having a black hole of communication, but being able to reach out to the AI agent and say, where is my application? What's the feedback I got from the hiring manager? These things are going to start to take place. And if you don't have a knowledge of it, and if you don't know how to implement this into the businesses you're serving, that to a Klarna CEO, to most of these CEOs, they will replace you. So I think you have to really understand what are the things AI is gonna help you with. And like Adam said, being a consultant to the business and being on top of this,
Add value.
it's crucial. Adding value is huge. And if you're like, well, I don't like that, then guess what? AI can help you as a small business owner. It helps me, helps Adam, helps Danielle. There's lots of ways that if you wanted to go off by yourself, AI could be really, really useful to you and help you in your own business.
You have to embrace it. I mean, I tell the story all the time where I've been doing my podcast for almost 6 years now, and I had 4 people on the team to do audio, video, social clips, and everything. If I wanted to today, and I've one incredible employee on staff here, but if I wanted to, I have all the tools at my disposal to be a one-man shop here with the AI. I'm talking about show notes, viral clips, and everything. So work smarter, not harder. Add value to your team. And that's also like future-proofing yourself in your career too, right? When quote unquote AI is going to take your job. No, like if you know how to use it properly and be able to articulate to the business how it could help them and add value, that's going to future-proof you.
Yeah, become an expert in how AI enables that specific role, because then it, other people can then learn from you. I'll also say on the skills, on the upskilling conversation, I posted a video about this, but I do think that because AI is coming in and has come in to work, much of the younger generations are already leveraging AI. They might not be talking about it publicly, but they are. And I think that organizations, instead of building, new learning development programs to help people with hard skills and learn how to use AI because it's moving so quickly, I do think that instead of that, they could be and possibly will be and are already investing in upskilling people and those younger professionals in the human skills and the communication and the negotiation and all of the things that will enable them to actually be really productive members of the
Hey, we got a
organization.
cougher in the background.
Yeah, can we? Anyone who's not on the screen, I mean, our incredible team here, just please mute your microphones.
Evan White. That's Evan White.
Evan's
So
just
anyway,
hacking.
I got a lot of backlash for that, but
Why?
I do think that because obviously there's all these people in the comments being like, well, we were never trained in how to communicate, and it's like, well, you got to meet people where they are. You have an entire generation that lost out on 4 years basically of traditional, in office experience.
Nope.
That's never going to be replaced.
Never.
We got Sharik asking here, and I want to address because he's asked it multiple times.
Yeah, get in there.
How much time will it take for AI to completely eliminate the need of recruiters?
Let me take this
first
one.
thing first. Yeah, go ahead, Adam. Let's get personal.
No. Joel, make your comment because I know it's at the tip of your tongue.
No, it's all
I
good.
can keep mine in my head for a moment here.
You go.
Here's the deal. Listen, I was at the ERE conference, and you guys could all check out my conversation. It's live now on the podcast with the legend, Kevin Wheeler. And Kevin, during the presentation, had 8 stages of recruiter evolution moving forward into the future. And we're kind of at stage 3 right now where recruiters are embracing the AI tech. They're figuring out how to use it. But we're going to get to a point. We're going to get to a point, I predict, in the next 5 or 6 years where 75-80% of recruiters could be obsolete. Asterisk, unless they upskill and make themselves more valuable. The lower level functions of recruiting, the admin, the sourcing, the initial screening, a lot of the outreach and automation, that's all going to go the way of AI. What hopefully that'll do is enable more time for the human contact in the process. Now, that's hopeful. There's going to be a lot of companies that are going to see the big dollar sign in front of it saying, hey, just like back in the day when all these big giant companies decided to outsource their call centers, right? And what happened? They outsourced it. The quality went to crap, right? Yeah. And then they got the backlash, and then they went back to the human side of it. And hopefully it's going to happen, right? That's the evolution. But here's the big but here.
Big but
coming up here. The companies that really focus on the human side are the ones that are going to win. And the ones that use the AI as a tool and not a crutch to make it more efficient and effective, to give more of that human time, that's what's going to happen. Danielle, thoughts?
I mean, we talk about this on the prediction show, so I'm not going to spoil it all. But I think 2025, the human side of anything, whether it be sales, be
Of course.
marketing,
Of course.
it's going to shine. And people, I think, are starting to really see the value of community and of providing value to people and then letting them come to the table and be like, oh, wait, what do you do again? And have them lean into the conversation. I think when you think about really the point of marketing is not just to sell, someone a
Hmm.
product that they don't need. The point of marketing is to sell the right product to the right person. And you won't get that unless you get to know that person and their needs.
Cure of Fink's comment right there. Yeah, exactly. Building real relationships never dies.
Well, this is. I think we've already began to see this in sales. I talk to a
Yeah.
lot of sale. I follow a lot of these sales influencers on
Like who?
LinkedIn. Like Scott Leese, he's a great example of
Yeah,
this.
Scott's a good
And what
guy.
he always talks about is how sales has transitioned from just like a cold function where you're like cold emailing, cold calling, and a lot of it now, a lot of sales is done through like
Sorry.
partnership relationships and referral business. So it's like it is
Hmm.
like to Brian's point, the relationship never dies. Look, all it takes is for a generation to come in that just goes, you know what? I'm not responding to DMs. Imagine if no one responded to LinkedIn DMs. Then
Well,
what? What's AI going to do? What happens when when Gen Z goes, you know what? I'm just not going to answer any phone calls unless I know the person.
huh.
Then what does recruiting look like? Is AI gonna like how does AI come in then? And I think what the danger is a lot of the tools that I hear about, they have reduced recruiting literally down to the complete top of funnel, and you miss the relationship, the rapport, the understanding people. You miss the workforce planning, and you've reduced recruiting literally down to a resume with an open position.
Right.
And I
And there's no
think
fact checking on that resume either, right? There's no human contact to really understand the candidate's motivation, what they're looking for, right? That
it's
true
just it's
soft.
keyword stuffing.
It's
That's what
just
even
keyword.
you
All these
got
job
Teal.
application tools are just stuffing keywords, relevant or not.
And you have like a tool like Teal's a great
All right.
example, right? Where you can match up the resume to the job, and I think that's great. That's great in theory,
If
but
it's factually correct.
exactly. And I was thinking about even skills, like
What's Roxana saying there?
naming HubSpot, like putting HubSpot on a resume. That's not a skill. Like just saying HubSpot or
Yeah,
hey
I
Python.
HubSpotted.
Like, what have you done with your skill? Anyway, we could get in a whole rant.